How old's your turf?
Getting a new field this summer. It's 2012 we got put in. It's pretty beat up.
How's your varsity team?
Ooh. 3 months? They're
About expected season, the
No,
disappointing
they-
season.
they lost their best player before the season started. Meniscus. He came back 2 weeks ago, but then their next best player they lost him last week. They'll actually, the last game last week they lost him. Got his knee. So
Yeah, that's
they're-
never
they're-
fun.
Yeah, and well, they've been playing all year with 11 players, or 12. They've had one bench player the whole year.
So they don't have subs.
They don't have subs, and so they
So-
do okay, and then they just wore out. And
80,
those
80
games-
minutes is a lot of minutes.
Yep. And they do it. They've been doing it all year. They'll probably have. So they lost their best player. One of the other players, he's out 6 days. So they're probably missing about 3 of the normal starters they've had. So I don't know who they're gonna bring up from JV to play today.
The not tired guy.
Yeah, right. The one that's willing to stay and the one that's not tired.
So they took second. Ours took second in region
Right.
because we lost to Goldwater, who's ranked fourth in state.
Jeez.
So that was disappointing. If they can hold on today, varsity playoffs, top 8 are in,
Yeah.
and region winners,
Yeah.
and then the next 9 through 24 play each other for a play-in.
Gotcha.
So they will be on the home game end of a play-in
Gotcha.
unless something crazy happens. I don't think they'd have to drop themselves below 16, and I don't think that
Yeah,
would happen.
With who's probably going to play tonight, they'll probably be okay. I mean, you never know, right? But
And one of our seniors told me last week that he was pretty close to school record in goals. And I didn't get to ask him how many that was, and then he scored 2. I'll get to that. Oh, tough luck.
Yeah, I didn't stay up.
So I don't know how close he is to school record, and I think he's top 3 or 4 in the state. My son is second on the team in scoring, which sometimes is disappointing because the other one gets the
Yeah.
opportunities. Yeah. And he's a junior, and our top scorer is a senior, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
But, kids who want to play after high school, a couple of goals here or there can matter.
It does.
If you
I
get
know,
the-
I know. At
Yeah.
a football level, stats really don't matter at all. Because you're going to walk out of how much more scouting there is in soccer than football has that much more scouts. But as far as
Right.
scouting goes, stats really.
They
absolutely
don't do a
matter.
ton of scouting. You have to figure out how to get in front of
You
them.
have to get in front of them.
You have to
right?
figure out how to
And
get in front
so
of
they'll
them.
see the stats and then they'll go. But with us,
Right.
everybody gets looked at.
Right.
Like even us, a small school that doesn't do the greatest, we
Right.
get D1 schools talk to us all the time. We get people.
Yeah, but
working.
you have guys like Bibby that come through your basketball program, and
Yeah,
and
right.
Misty Hyman that comes through your swimming program, and
Yeah.
you
I mean, football has been good, but we still
You get a
well, and
few-
our coaches, coach is well connected, so
Right.
they come to talk to him,
Right.
and then he'll tell them what we got and not.
Right.
But
Who to
it's-
look at.
If you check but it's different football, soccer. I get it. Football, if you check a box
Right.
and you play well, you're gonna find it at the table.
When I coached swimming in high school, and that's a stopwatch sport, right? So you didn't even need to be scouted. I mean, an athlete would come to me and say, "I'm looking at a couple of schools." I'd be like, "Okay, let's get on their board and see what their
Yeah.
times are like, what their records are like.
Yeah.
Where
'Cause it
where
doesn't
are
matter Who
you?"
you're going against? It's
Right, stopwatch.
speed. Yeah.
You know, where are you compared to the athletes on their team, right?
Yeah.
And then if they fit, I'd be like, "How serious are you?" And then it'd be easy. I'd write an email to the coach, you know, as the varsity coach, you know, great grades, captain, great personality. Here are their times. And I'd be amazed how
Yeah.
then they'd reach out and go, "Oh, you have a 4.0
Yeah. Well,
and you're faster than all my sophomores and you're still in high school." You know what I mean?
We tell our kids all the time.
So
Get 4.0 and be decent, we'll get you somewhere. Like grades are huge
Right.
in everything.
right,
You know, I mean, if you got a 4.0 and you're you know, usually for 4.0 you're probably a hard worker, right?
they don't want to worry about your eligibility in
Yep.
classroom.
Yeah.
They want to know that you're going to be able to handle. And if you're at D2 or D3, they want you to go to school.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I
That's,
mean?
that's what
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, D1 football gets all the scholarships, and the soccer team and the cross country team is the one that keeps the school's GPAs up.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh, that wasn't a nice smack.
Right? You're not the best.
Hey, yeah. Nice kid got smacked, so that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My son's on that really nice kid list. So if something happens, the next thing you know, and he's retaliating,
Yeah.
you're like, wow, that must have been bad. Or this has been going on all game, and now he's just tired of it. You know what I mean? Soccer has sharp elbows and no pads.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what was up with that? He goes, if he hit me in the ribs one more time.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, I'm like, I get it. This is nice. This is the first place I've been in where I can work a camera without being in an awkward sitting position or
Really?
leaning out a window or a window in my way or balancing my tripod on a windowsill.
This is so I've done all the boys' home games and I've done some of the girls. If the boys have a close home game, I'll go to them. So I won't do some of the girls' home games, but I do all the boys' home games and some of the girls. This is the first person I've come. You're the first person I've come film. I've never seen anybody filming anybody. You know, you're the first one to film somebody. Nobody.
Well, I wanted to ask your permission before I did
Oh, yeah, no,
trek
I-
up those stairs.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean that's like we don't film our guys.
I started a YouTube channel for the team. I used to take a lot of photography type of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I realized as my son was rotating up, the coaches don't want photos, they want video.
Yeah.
And then I asked the athletes, what would you rather, because I'll put like my photos when I get done with them, they're like sports cards,
Gotcha. Okay.
right? So they're not like you know, they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh look, I took a pic. No, I
yeah.
mean they get dialed in. They're, you know, if it's not an action shot of a goal or something, I turn it into a player's card. You know what I mean? So, and they really like it because it becomes individualized, and I make sure I get a shot of everybody.
Yeah.
And this year they've all wanted the video, which is nice because I'll download the first half when it's over,
Yeah.
and I'll make sure the game is downloaded before I leave. I don't have to go home and edit any photography. Everything's. We had a pretty gruesome injury, and I had to edit. It was like last 20 seconds of the game,
Yeah.
so I had to go in and just. The game ended at the throw-in. The game didn't end at the
Gotcha.
kick to the head.
Oh.
Just to make sure. And then a couple of gnarly parent games.
Oh, really?
that I've had to just mute my video because I have open window, right?
Yeah, so you hear it.
Right. So you hear, yeah.
It's weird, I haven't.
And every once in a while, you're like, you're the team winning 5-1. You would not know that you're the team winning 5-1 based on the crowd.
We get that in football. I have not heard anything on the soccer game. I haven't heard any parents go crazy. I mean, obviously they'll,
Well, there aren't as many here.
Yeah, they'll argue, and they'll yell, but nothing awful.
Right.
Football, we've had parents get thrown out of the game, and it's usually they're so far off. It's just like, what are you? Clearly that was a penalty. Like, what are you yelling about? Like, they're sitting there. It's like, what? I don't get it.
Well, people don't understand the rules of soccer.
Yeah.
So if there's a foul but your team has the advantage, then the ref will let the play go.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd do that in basketball, because you have a guy driving in for a layup and then there's a foul away from the ball and he blows the whistle and the guy doesn't get the layup, becomes a throw. Becomes a throw in. And then after the play breaks up and he doesn't think that the team got enough advantage, then they blow the whistle to bring it back for a kick. Right? And then they don't run around with whistles in their mouth. So they're already screaming, "Hey!" and the kid hasn't even hit the ground yet, and the ref hasn't even had a chance to put the whistle in his mouth yet. So it's like, and my spouse is the head JV coach.
Okay.
So the JV program will get more than maybe some other JV programs might get.
Hey.
All right, and my son's on the varsity squad, so I'll stay to.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So like it or not, I'm stuck here for 160 minutes and a few other.
Hey, no worries.
Uh,
Yeah, it's
you can see the table next to me. I look like a rookie,
Yes.
right? I've never sat here for 160 minutes of soccer. I get enough time to use the restroom and say hi to everybody in between, and that's about it. Are they doing their senior night tonight, or did they?
We
They
did
did.
it. We already did it last time.
Okay, because this was a
This was that, yeah,
reschedule.
it's just they already had it scheduled. They just kept it as scheduled.
Gotcha. You start to see them when your last couple of games are away. You start to,
Yeah.
So we've seen our share of those.
Yeah.
Where'd it go? I hate that. I'm trying to get good enough so I can watch soccer and the camera can just follow.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I'm tired of watching it on a 3x5 screen.
Yeah.
And then if I realize I'm being a fan, the camera's not following. And if I'm being a cameraman, Dad doesn't get to see the whole play.
Because one of the reasons I goes to a lot of games, we have one of our sophomore players, he's one of our quarterbacks. So I'm the offensive coordinator for the varsity team, I'm also the head freshman sophomore coach. And so this guy, he's a sophomore, but he's been my quarterback the last 2 years. He's a great athlete, so I like to come watch him play. But it is different when I'm not having to do the clock.
Mm-hmm.
I can sit there kind of focus on him, see how he plays, see how he does, and then when I'm doing the scoreboard, I got to keep my eyes on the official on the varsity games because,
Yeah, they won't stop a clock in JV very much.
JV, it's major injuries usually.
Yeah.
It's a major injury, or if you got a fight or something like that going on.
Right, because they want to keep on schedule for varsity. They don't want to.
No, they won't stop for anything.
Right, they don't want to go. They don't want varsity to start late because they don't want to be here late.
No. And then on varsity, it's weird. Some will still, like, it will have to be like a major
Right.
if you're gonna stop that clock because they're like we're getting home on time.
Right.
And then some, it's anything at all for any injury
One of-
at all, they'll stop that clock.
One of our last JV games, we were winning it by 2, so so it didn't really matter, right? But went to a corner kick and everybody's lollygagging,
Yeah.
right? And I look at it, it's at 13 seconds, and I looked at the kid doing the clock. I said, hey, do me a favor, stop clock. We're gonna have a corner kick. And I said, and I will tell you when to turn it on, right? So I let the corner kick happen. As soon as it hit the first person, I said, turn it on. And then they turned that into a tap, and a goal. Like, otherwise,
You would have gotten it in.
right. I don't, in high school soccer is the only place where I have seen a clock that runs down. Because in real soccer, the clock runs up.
Yeah.
Because if the ball's in the air in soccer and you hit time, the ref will let the play finish. You know what I mean? And usually, because of delays throughout, after it hits halftime, then all of a sudden you see a +3.
You get that.
Right, so there's going to be 3 extra minutes here.
Yeah.
Because the main referee really is the main timekeeper, right? Which is why I let the clock not run for 15 seconds to get the last play in. Because otherwise, why are you setting it up? Just call it now. Right? There's 6 seconds left. Why are you setting it up? And then if you've ever seen it, when time becomes important, especially in the varsity games,
Yeah.
right? The fans will start screaming at you to stop a clock.
Yeah. Don't
Right.
tell me.
And sometimes the ref hasn't, and they'll start screaming because the injury, right? And the ref hasn't done anything yet. Then maybe the ref tells you to turn it off, right?
Yeah.
But if the clock ran up and the referee controlled it, you'd never have to touch it after you hit go.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Because when the time hit 40, he would blow his whistle to end it, or he'd give it a couple of extra minutes because of delays,
yeah.
and you'd have no parents yelling at you about stop the clock.
Yeah. No, we've had it, and I'm just like, hey, I've been told multiple times. I watch it because some will stop it right away, some won't. And they tell me not to stop it. I
Oh,
don't
there's the
stop
shot.
it.
Where's the shot? Take
I
it.
will let it run, especially too. Like they'll be doing it. It's like, dude, we're down or up by 4.
Right.
Like it's.
Right.
He's not. Well, and they'll do it too. Like if you're up by so much too.